What's up, guys? New video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Big fire 200 VODs, and let's see. Woke localizer attack weebs for criticizing their mistranslation. So let's see what this is about.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So today we have another round of localizer-related drama to cover because localizers have been going fully masked off over the past couple of days and have even gone as far as to blame supposed weebs for their own mistranslations and the fact that their jobs are currently being threatened by AI. Now,
oh yeah, so I did hear about the AI thing. I think, I mean, this has a lot to do with it's kind of like censorship, really. Actually, yeah, it's basically censorship, where you know, they translate things in a way that's like you know, injecting their own ideas and like injecting their own ideas, and if like things are, what would be the word that like they usually use, like not okay for modern audiences or something, they want it censored, so you know, they change what they're saying, not change the meaning, they just change what they're saying. So, and it kind of reminds me of like back in the day, you remember 4Kids, they were doing that. It's basically the same thing, but this is like the modern version of like 4Kids.
That's a set of topics we covered in this YouTube video about 2 days ago, and to sum up that video in about 30 seconds for context, the recent edition of the English release of Ancient Magus' Prime manga came out with AI translations, and a lot of localizers were upset about this, and they were...
Wait, let me check. Okay, just making sure the recording is good. Actually, wait. Is my voice? Okay, that's not muted. Let me keep going.
Were threatened by AI because it might actually replace their jobs.
Yeah, actually, I would rather the AI do it, because the whole point of translation is to actually translate what they're actually saying, not you know, the meaning that the author is like trying to convey and everything, while they're like, you know, actually changing the meaning and injecting their own like ideology and everything.
That by saying, you reap what you sow, because for decades, localizers have been abusing their position of trust and authority as translators to insert random political messages and Gen Z humor into their translations of anime and manga, where it was completely inappropriate. And this image really sums up a lot of the responses, where people can recognize that AI translations are not ideal, while also saying, we're not going to feel sorry for localizers who might lose their jobs to AI, because for a long time they've been abusing their position as...
Yeah, I'd be fine with them losing their jobs to AI. I mean, if AI can do a better job, then, you know, go ahead, use AI. If they're not going to do their job correctly, then AI, feel free to take over.
...a translator for their own selfish reasons. Now that's where we were 2 days ago. The time that has passed, things have evolved, okay? The coping and seething from localizers has gotten much worse. They are now coming out with multiple strings of logic that they're using to their defense. Number one, they're saying that if you have a problem with localizations, you should simply learn Japanese. And until you do, you can't criticize their...
So I think, because even if you did learn Japanese, how would that help? Like, you would just know that they're localizing inaccurately. Like, it's... or does it mean, oh, you should only... because then you just read the original, I guess, in Japanese. But like, I feel like that's what the same thing people say for like video games, like Blue Protocol, you know, is getting censored by Amazon, and you know, people will say, oh, just play the original Japanese version of the game. But the problem with that is like, you know, you get terrible ping because it's like in Japan and stuff, and that's assuming Japan doesn't, you know, IP block you and stuff, which they do it for like a lot of MMOs, and even then you wouldn't be able to understand anybody. Well, I mean, I guess if you speak, you would be able to, but it would be like you could understand them, but it's like things are like wonky. Like, let's say you want to do a raid, the schedule would be off and stuff, since you have like these two different like time zones and stuff, and like, yeah, it's just a lot of annoying things. So, and even then, like, you shouldn't have to learn a whole other language when you know, the localization should just be correct. Like that's, I mean, not the, like, it should just be a translation, not really localization. They should just be translating what it says, like, directly. That's it.
Translations. And then when that didn't work, they went as far as to say that anyone who's criticizing their translations is an alt-right Nazi weeb.
You know? The classic.
I wish I was exaggerating.
I mean, it really waters down the term alt-right at this point.
But I am not. So let's start off with this tweet right here. It says, people who aren't multilingual just should not talk about translation. Literally impossible to have an informed opinion. 3 years of language class in high school isn't multilingual.
But I think because people are saying, like, oh, it's not enough to have an informed opinion. But has anyone said, like, what people have said the translations, like what the people who apparently can read the translations, what they've said it's been translating to, has it been wrong? Like, they haven't pointed out, like, where the person has been wrong. So it seems kind of pointless to say this.
Now, I have a good metaphor for this situation that I think applies really well. So if you go to a restaurant, right, and you order a steak medium rare, you don't have to be a chef to understand that the cook messed up when that steak comes back charred to a crisp. Just like if you look at localization of anime and manga, you don't need to speak Japanese to know things like this are garbage.
But the people, like, the people who are localizing, they've never pointed out how the people who are complaining about the translations are wrong in, like, the literal sense, and how, like, oh no, it wasn't actually translated to saying this, it actually like literally, like, says this, like, you know, like we're actually translating it, like, word for word, and you're actually, like, wrong here. So it seems kind of a pointless, like, statement to make, to say this, because there's no sign that they've, like there's a misunderstanding, or in, like, there's no sign that they're wrong in how you're translating it is wrong, you know?
You don't need to speak Japanese to know this in localizations like,
I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm being confusing, like, I don't know.
Like this are garbage, and you don't
If I'm explaining it, like, clearly
have to
enough.
speak Japanese to recognize that. And a lot of people have been responding to this user saying, 15 years of anime translation and subtitling. Just because languages do not translate and conjugate one-to-one, and some cultural references fall flat, doesn't mean you need to fill a script with Chungus Among Us Riz Skibbity Toilet. And that's really, I mean, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but it does hold true. A lot of these things that these localizers are fighting for are completely useless translations and insertions of Gen Z humor that don't do anything. They don't provide any sort of...
Yeah, like, for example, like the localizers aren't saying, like, oh, it actually says, like, Chungus Among Us Riz Skibbity Toilet in, like, Japanese. Like, they're not saying that. They're just saying you're wrong because you didn't take enough language classes, you know? Like, that's...
sort of benefit to the translation. And you can see some localizers fighting...
So clearly they're on the back foot here. Let me see, localization to make sure. I agree the USA isn't the world, but whatever menu jobs will specify they want American English used in translation and languages from the target culture added. English translations are watched, read all over the world, and not all the places I watch them are target culture. The US is not the world.
For this exact point, this localizer is saying, and yes, sometimes that means using yeet, sus, incel, etc. Yes, memes like this are becoming a reality. Localizers really are fighting for that sort of language in their translations. And of course, after they said this, they would private their accounts.
Classic.
Localizers have done in the situation. But moving forward, here's another localizer with their hot take on this situation that would get mocked into oblivion. They say, the amount of angry weebs still manage...
Yeah, because they can't really point out to anything, like, where the you know, apparent weebs are like wrong on this, though. Like, they're just saying, oh, you can't read the source material, but you haven't pointed out, like, where we're wrong in, like, your translation being like inaccurate, or I mean, but you can't point out like where like we're wrong in the argument, like
translators and localizers disrespecting the source material when bro can't even read the source material. Ooh, what a burn! Except this is totally tone deaf and you're mocking your own audience. So here's some of the replies. This one ratioing them, saying, enjoy losing your job to AI. Nothing of value.
yeah, it's kind of like when you go into fans, it's like, okay, it's like have fun you losing your job.
Will be lost. Yeah,
bye.
Why it's hard to feel bad.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Jobs to AI when they're mocking their own consumers. Here's another reply.
It's kind of like the Cowboy Bebop situation where you know, that woman, I forgot her name, who was Faye Valentine. She was like, you know, kind of attacking the fans with her like supposed joke that, you know, she can't be in like Faye's like outfit and like all this stuff. And then, you know, she lost her job and she's gone now. So, you know, bye. Like we won't be seeing you again. So, oh well.
You can read the source material.
Like if you don't like the outfit, then, you know, you cannot wear it and you can, you know, get another job.
And still can't do your job. Oof. Here is a tweet with a picture of those replies saying, imagine how awful the localization is that someone who can't even speak the language can tell the translation is inaccurate, with 6,000 likes on.
Yeah, they haven't like, because we know the translation is inaccurate. The localizers know the translation is accurate, so we have no like disagreement on that end. Like they're not translating the correct words, so I mean they're not translating the words correctly, so you know that's
absolutely brutal.
That's the crux of the issue.
Just like this, localizers saying things like, how can you know the translation is inaccurate if you don't know Japanese? And you see examples of localization saying things like, bravo.
Bro. How do you know the translation is inaccurate? They say like a bunch of memes.
Like, it's very obvious that these things are not correct translations, and basically these localizers are taking advantage of their position of trust and authority to add these in. For what reason?
Yeah, it's like watching like Berserk or something, and then like what Gut says like translates to like incel weeb or like something like that. Like obviously he's not saying that.
Nobody knows. Maybe it's just a power trip. That's probably what a lot of this is. But anyways, this person of course has me blocked. Just like every single one of these localizers has me on Twitter. I'm blocked by basically all.
Man, they run in fear of Rev said that too. It's funny.
I bring this up because here's another localizer who has
it's the block.
There's a reason for this, and you know, just wait a minute and you'll see why. So this person was actually included in the last video where they were dismissing criticism of bad localizations as people being afraid of the presence of gay characters in a story, and that these people don't care about accuracy in translations. It's more that they have a certain worldview. And of course, this is a pancakes waffles situation.
Wait, imagine preferring something. I said seeing a line about a woman or a gay person that makes you mad for simply existing. I mean, gay and woman characters exist in anime like all the time. I don't know what. There's even like yaoi ships and like Yuri ships. I don't know what she's talking about. Like, has she watched anime before?
Where this is not what they're saying. This is just.
I mean, even like the most popular anime, like One Piece. There's all those like gay characters, and actually, wait, are they gay or is it like? Maybe it's just LGBT specifically. I don't know if they count as. I don't know. And there's too many like One Piece characters but you know. And there's like Sailor Moon and like, you know, stuff like that.
The complete goalpost shift to a narrative that never really happened. But
I know I mean, even though I didn't watch Yuri on Ice, I know that was like, apparently it's like yaoi and stuff, and it's like popular. So I don't know what she's talking about.
To fight people in the reply. So recently, a user came forward with examples of bad localizations, And their response,
you know, Dragon Maid, there's like those two. Well, I know that one girl loves like the other girl, but I don't know if the other girl like ever rescinded. I don't really watch Dragon Maid, so. But I know there's that one like Yuri girl. You know who I'm talking about, the lolly.
are already discussed in Dragon Maid BS and the effing Shaman King manga from 1998. Now, I think these examples are very valid, and the fact that some of them are older only proves how pervasive this problem is. This issue with bad localizations is not a new one. It's one that's been going on for decades. It's become normalized within the localization scene. They say this publicly. They say things like they want to see how much they can get away with before they get caught. So that's a good example showing that this has happened over a long period of time. And these are examples. If you want examples of people spotting bad localizations and someone shows you, you can't just dismiss it. And as you can see, when they're arguing with these accounts, they'll post screenshots of those users blocking them, which is a very obvious tactic that they're doing. So
running away.
They go after these small accounts for a reason. They know that these smaller accounts like this one that has, I believe, less than 100 followers, because they know a lot of people aren't going to come to their defense. And instead of arguing with accounts like me that are blocking me to avoid any sort of criticism from a larger account with a larger follower base that will go to their tweets and criticize them. And I think it's a very obvious form of deflection. They're trying to keep within their echo chamber and only go after small targets they know they can gang up on very fast, because a lot of these localizers have tens of thousands of followers.
I mean, what happened to not punching down, you know?
Well, before I left their account, I saw that they retweeted this banger. It says, check the timeline of every one of the angry weebs in my mentions, and you'll find virulent racism, homophobia, and trans hate. That should tell you something. Oh boy, the goalpost shift, ladies and gentlemen. You might recognize this Jay Allen person. So they are the person behind the Unseen Japan account. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this at some point.
What's this?
This account is an L factor when it comes to takes involving anime, manga, and Japanese culture. Now, they would make this absolutely scorching hot take shortly after saying, anyway, it's clear that woke localizers is based on maybe 5% actual translation errors, generous, and 95% right-wingers pushing a fascist agenda of erasure.
Everyone who's problem with the translations are fascist right-wingers. Isn't surprising that he would say that.
Liberalism exists in Japan, feminism exists in Japan, queerness exists in Japan. Deal with it. Deal with it. Yeah, of course, what's the message here?
Also, don't most right-wingers hate anime, or... I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that they're really anime fans. I mean, like, you know, in majority, given, you know, what's in anime.
Fellas, is it fascism to want proper translations in anime and manga? Like, yeah, this is a goofy tweet and a lot of people making fun of it. And recognizing this account, I quoted them with this, saying, this is the same guy who was mocked on Japanese television after he tried to shut down a blood drive because it used a smug picture of Uzaki-chan.
Oh, actually, I heard about this. The Uzaki-chan blood drive, like, controversy or something. I didn't know that guy was a part of it.
Yes, this actually happened back in 2019. Unseen Japan was very upset about a Red Cross blood drive that featured this image of Uzaki-chan. Unseen Japan saw this picture of a...
This isn't it. Hashtag woman, hashtag me too, hashtag... Wait, what is coup to?
Oh god, it's so overly sexualized. It's literally just a smug picture of Uzaki.
Yeah, who cares?
And to his horror, he was mocked on live Japanese television.
Oh, that's funny.
He admits he likes because they knew how ridiculous this whole effort was on his behalf, and it was absolutely hilarious to see this happen back in 2019. But he would make some more tweets, and before we get to those, people would mock this whole situation because, guys, this is not about fascism and all this sort of stuff they're trying to say. It's all about translations. That's all this is. People just...
Mansplainers aren't popular with the ladies, you know. A man who dwells on the past is not popular with the ladies. Oh yeah, that's completely different.
Want a proper translation translation. This isn't some alt-right plan. This isn't some conspiracy. It's just about getting proper translations. So they would also go on to say, we steal your copyrighted works all the time isn't something I brag about, but you do you suppose. And you might recognize this localizer from earlier in the video. They're basically calling anyone complaining about bad localizations Karens, and that they should just make the translations themselves if they know so much about Japanese culture, where the Caesar says, well, this is why people pirate these sorts of things.
No, I mean, the AI is gonna do it, so we can just do that instead of, you know, you guys.
And yeah, as this user would respond, there's a very simple response to what they're saying.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to do it if the official translators did their job properly. And the fans are willing to buy products if they are good quality. And it goes back to the classic anti-piracy tactic. If you don't want people to pirate your content, make good content. It's as simple as that. But they would go on to say another tweet saying, this is the crux of the issue. People don't understand what translation is. Translation's goal is to make another language comprehensible in the target language. If you want to know how Japanese people talk, learn freaking...
Wait, but it is comprehensible in the way that, like in the way that's properly translated, you know? So I don't know why he thinks it's incomprehensible.
And then they would make another tweet saying, damn, me posting in Japanese really pisses off the fascists. Think I'll do it more often.
The fascists.
You know, he typed this tweet, hit sent tweet, and then immediately hawked his own farts. Like, this guy is so full of himself, it's actually hilarious. But moving on, I want to close this video with one last little interaction. So you can see a string of conversation here. Basically, people talking about localizations and how they understand that things can't be one-to-one translated in every situation, but they just don't want irrelevant jokes and things like that inserted into localizations. Where a localizer would respond with this. I've had to take matters into my own hands with some pretty sexist jokes, not even coming from villains or characters already set up as terrible, and I don't regret it. A lot of text is written by 50-year-old men, and you get some duck.
Wait, what?
In there, it helps no one to keep it.
Wait, why? What an ego on this guy. He says he helps. I mean, it's their manga, though. You know, it's like that's not your decision as like a translator. And he's saying like it helps no one. Like they chose to put it in there, so you just translate it. So yeah, this is ridiculous.
Now the response to this tweet is refreshing. 103 quotes.
Yeah, what'd they say?
5 likes. This is a real localizer, by the way.
Yeah, look at the ego on this like random translator that he thinks it's his decision to choose like what's like not put in. Like that's not your job, dude. That's not your call, your job. Like what the hell? So yeah, I think that's the problem. These guys should all be like fired and replaced with AI, 100%.
Versus 5 likes. This is a real localizer, by the way, one that is self-admitted in their bio, and this really sums up this whole situation. Localizers and their supporters have gone fully mask off. They will not accept any criticism. They will literally die on this hill, even if it means they're going to be replaced by AI because they can't provide professional translations in their works.
Yeah.
You know what? As always, you reap what you sow. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section.
Yeah, so 100%, like, if there's translators like that guy, they should just all be replaced with AI, like, immediately. Anyway, that is the end of the video, I guess. I will see you all later.